It is both the volunteer work of Maine lawyers and our material support for these legal service providers that makes Maine a real leader in addressing access to justice issues on a voluntary basis through the activities of our profession. And we should be rightly proud of what we have done. On the other hand, we need to be deeply concerned about how much there is to do. The Chief Justice has observed, quite correctly, that we have a crisis in our court system as a result of the vast numbers of litigants who appear in the courts without anyone to represent them because they cannot afford anyone to represent them. That number is well above 70% of those who appear in the court system. And it is not just in the court system that this crisis exists, because as you all know from your own practices, regardless of income level, there are many, many serious matters that affect people's lives that require the assistance and advice of a lawyer and that never reach the court system. There are also matters that are reaching the court system that should not, because there is no legal advice and no legal representation available. So we have to do everything we can to address that crisis by reaching as deeply as we can to provide support for these legal service providers. In recognition of that, the Campaign for Justice this year has set a goal of raising $450,000 in 2012. That is 12.5% more than the campaign has ever raised before. It's essential that we reach that goal, however, because support from the Maine Civil Legal Services Fund, which is a very important source of funding for these providers, is, for reasons we don't fully understand and perhaps can be attributed to the compassion of state troopers, falling as we have fewer moving violations, which will provide a surcharge that supports legal services. And you all know what's happening to interest rates and to IOLTA funds, and that in turn affects the availability of funds for legal services as well. Federal support is only available to some of the providers, and that support is at best flat. So the only place we can look to make up for some of the losses in funding and to help with the growing need for legal services for those with low income is the Campaign for Justice, you and me. I want to close by reflecting a little bit on why we do all this, and inviting you to reflect on it too. This is a campaign to provide equal access to justice for those who cannot afford the services that we make our living providing. And we all know that we have an obligation as a learned profession devoted to justice to do whatever we can to assure that access to that justice is available to everyone in our society. We obviously love what we do for a variety of reasons. Some of us enjoy the excitement of a controversy and the ability to take the most zealous position that we can and effectuate a result that meets our clients' legitimate needs. Some of us enjoy the craftsmanship that we use in taking language and fashioning it into rules and understandings that govern human conduct in ways that limit power and control and channel power so that people can live orderly, predictable, and effective lives. And some of us do it because we love the idea of a just society. Whatever your motivations for doing what you do, it's fundamental that if we are going to be successful in continuing to earn our livings in this trade, our society has to believe in what we do. Our society has to understand that when we fashion laws, when we argue about what laws mean, when we seek results for particular clients, we are doing so in an environment where everyone has the opportunity to be represented and everyone's interests that are affected by those controversies has a voice, an effective, trained voice. Otherwise, society loses confidence in the have to have the confidence of our peers in society. And that means we absolutely have to support to the full ability that we can the idea that everyone around us has a right to access to justice. That's what this campaign is about. You are all responding with tremendous energy this year. I thank you for that, and I urge you to keep thinking about it until we hit 450,000, and then we'll